Hello, my name is Nick Carroll, and today I'm going to go ahead and review Razer's Black Widow Ultimate Keyboard 2013 edition. So let's get started. So I've been using this keyboard for upwards of 2 weeks, and I'm actually using it now. And I'll just go ahead and cut to the chase here. I absolutely love this keyboard. It's worked wonders for me in terms of not just gaming, but just typing. There's a more satisfying feel to just using the keys in pretty much any sort of operations, from typing up documents to shooting people in games, basically, or playing different playing different things. So this has been a really good keyboard, and I mean, just listen to how this sounds. And pretty much all the keys sound like that. Not just how it sounds and the way it feels, but the way it looks. This is a keyboard that is actually raised a slight bit in terms of the back. This back part right here has a little bit of an angle to it. So even without the use of these feet right here, you get some, like I actually now keep this straight on the ground, straight on the desk itself. Because its natural raise is up just a little bit, so this is like completely solid and flat on the desk, yet raised just enough to be very comfortable for me. Another thing you'll notice is right here you see the USB port, and then the two audio ports here. That's from the pass-through that I showed in the unboxing, that is connected up there. I don't actually use this because I actually use the, since my tower case is right here, I'll plug up everything there, but it's nice having this extra port here in the event I wanted to connect up something there. However, it is only USB 2.0, even though it's connected to a couple USB 3 interfaces in the back of the case. This is ultimately 2.0, but that's fine. There's an extra USB port, that's actually up here, that you're plugging up from the back there. So that's kind of neat. And in a moment, I'm going to show you some video using my Nexus 4 smartphone, where I kind of go through some of the things I don't like about this keyboard. These are only very minor criticisms that are particular really specifically to my use case in terms of comfortability with it. So let's go ahead and roll that little clip. So here's a brief tour of the keyboard. Right now, the LEDs are lit using the lowest brightness setting possible. And this is actually where I find myself mostly using these keys, even in the dark or during the bright of day. So let me come over here and show you the macro keys, or that section where the macro keys used to be. What I did was I popped out all of the keys, removed them, and put them in my desk. And I put some tape over the Cherry MX blue switches. And the reason why I did that was because when I was playing games, I would accidentally hit one of the macro keys instead of some of these other keys when playing. And even though the default setting is for those keys to do absolutely nothing, I was still subconsciously moving my hand over and hitting the keys. So in this case, me personally, I had to remove those keys because I wasn't using them for any purpose, and they were just interfering with the normal operation of the keyboard on my part. As far as another minor criticism I have of the keyboard is, you'll notice let's go here towards the number keys. You'll notice the numbers are up towards the top of the key, and the shift operation is actually towards the bottom. If you look at a regular keyboard like my old Logitech K110 K120 keyboard, the numbers, like most other keyboards, are at the very bottom, and the shift operation, the shift mode of the keys, are at the top. So a lot of times I would just find it just was kind of weird to me that was reversed. It's not a big deal, but every once in a while when I'm actually typing and not gaming, and I'm looking, sometimes it's kind of weird. So it's not a major criticism by any means. Another thing I wanted to comment is, when you actually turn the brightness off, the keys themselves are actually a little bit hard to see. Like if you take a look at this here, these white keys, even though I've used this for like a year or two, maybe very slightly faded for some of the keys, they're all still pretty much visible in moderate to low light situations. These keys are really hard, so it actually requires you to turn them on in order to see them better. However, the advantage is once they're on, they're much easier to see. Also, the numbers look weird. Like that's the ampersand. And that looks, this is the ampersand. That looks weird. Here's the percentage sign. That looks weird. Here's the @ sign. That looks weird. I mean, some of these keys just look kind of like the actual lettering is just kind of hard to get used to. So anyways, one of the functions I actually like is using this function key with some of these multimedia keys up towards the top to raise and lower the volume, fast forward or pause video. Here's a gaming key where you can set the keyboard a gaming mode to where certain options like this menu key or the Windows key don't do anything to maybe push you out of the game. Then of course these keys here to lower and raise the brightness. So that's pretty nice. So and then coming over here to like here's a screen, but like here's the Synapse 2.0 system tray icon, and we'll let this focus. You can either open it or you can actually adjust the default settings. I actually manually set at 25%, 50%, 75%, and 99% brightness. This is actually 100, but the 100 looks, I won't bore you with the details there, but so I've got the 4 default modes there. I can set it to where if I just do the function and then 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll automatically switch it to that mode. Or you can just open Razer Synapse 2.0, then you'll see the settings there. Now it's set to the surround sound for that there, but let me move to the keys so that you can see there, what you can do. You can set the different profiles. Like here's the different profiles I have set: 25, 50, 75, 99, 100. You can do function 1, 2, 1 through whatever, 0 through 9. So that's pretty nice. So then you can adjust the lighting. You can set the lighting levels there. And of course, game mode, you can have it on or off based on what you set. So that's pretty cool. As you can see, those are relatively minor criticisms, and they are, again, pretty much specific to me. Like, I found the macro keys uncomfortable because I would accidentally bump them. But I do like some of the functionality that I get from this keyboard via the function keys, from the multimedia interfaces to the brightness up and down, or even turning gaming mode off and on at will. Although for me, by default, I leave gaming mode off, and even in games, I'll leave it off. But it's nice having that functionality, even though me in particular, I've not had a problem actually hitting the Windows key or the menu key for that. The control panel is really nice. I've got plenty of functionality in that, in using that control panel. It allows me to, change the LED brightness through a wide variety of levels. Although me in particular, I use the 4 that I have listed there: the 25, 50, 75, and 100% brightness levels. And I use it almost exclusively in the 25% or lower brightness levels, because even when it's fairly bright, the light levels coming from the LED, the default light levels, are just fine. So my final thoughts on this keyboard: even though I was interested in getting the 2014 edition, I accidentally picked up this version instead. I don't really have any complaints. The only major difference between this keyboard and the newer keyboard that is the 2014 edition is the keys are slightly different. They're almost identical to these keys, except that they're made by Razer, and they have a slightly higher actuation point. But for me, this is absolutely just fine. The actuation point is close enough to the default keyboard that I've been using for years, and the mini keyboards beforehand. This is my first modern mechanical keyboard, and I love it. I don't really mind the noisiness of the Cherry MX Red switches. It's just fine to me. It's just like a regular keyboard in terms of the keys. I know some people like to go for the stealth models. maybe in hindsight I could have aimed for one of those, but I believe those are a little more expensive. And this is just fine. I don't mind the noise levels, particularly since I'm the only one in here most of the time when I'm typing. My wife has a desk in here, but she mostly uses her notebook in the living room. So even then, that's not an issue. So anyways, that's going to wrap this up. I just want to sort of ramble on a little bit about some of my impressions and overview of the keyboard. I think 90% of the keyboard is just perfect for me. The 10% that wasn't quite my style, I was able to easily modify by removing the macro keys and adjusting the brightness levels to the way I want. I like a lot of the defaults that are built in. The actual braided keyboard cable is actually really nice. It's a little stiff, but it allows for routing. You can actually kind of bend it a little bit and route it the way you want, behind your desk and so forth. And at 6.5 feet, it's more than long enough for what I need, because my tower is always around my desk. Historically, I've not had a tower on the other side of the room or some other location. It's always like right next to my desk, on top of my desk, or on top of something next to my desk. So the length of the cable was just fine. It's USB 2.0 in terms of the two cables that are involved, and that's just fine. It's a low power USB accessory, So I like the accuracy of it. I like the responsiveness of it. I like the feel of the keys as I'm pressing on them, and you can hear that little slight click whenever you reach that actuation point to where something's been clicked. That's kind of nice. And that's basically it. So that's about it for me. There's other reviews out there on the internet if you want to check those out, but this is my personal review and my thoughts of it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.